alumni of our very own Denver East High School. Woo-woo. Whereas she furthered her studies by obtaining a Bachelor of Communications degree from the University of Colorado at Boulder.
Whereas Victoria is a veteran community leader and political strategist who has made significant and lasting impacts in the lives of countless individuals, fostering a culture of inclusivity, empowerment, and academic achievement within her community and beyond. She has played pivotal roles in many successful campaigns, including those of Mayor Michael Hancock, DPS Board President Nate Easley, Governor Bill Ritter, President Barack Obama, and, as a young person, Lieutenant Governor George Brown, who became the first African American elected to a statewide office in 1975. Side note, it's hard to believe she's been around that long. Victoria has worked successfully with many board members to assist them in meeting their community goals and ensuring that students in DPS thrive.
Next, we'll have Director Gaitan. Could you read the next two, please?
Whereas she has earned numerous awards for her efforts, including the Tribute to Black Youth Award for Outstanding Community Service and a Women Making History Award from the Colorado Black Women for Political Action. Whereas in her current role as partner, Community Relations for Root Ed, Victoria remains aligned with her passion for giving back to other nonprofits and working with communities to raise awareness about education.
Whereas her unparalleled depth of knowledge about DPS, combined with her exemplary dedication, integrity, and unwavering commitment to achieving equity for every student, makes her a beacon of inspiration and guidance for students and educators alike.
Whereas, outside of her professional endeavors, Victoria remains a lifelong member of Ignatius Loyola Catholic Church and is an esteemed member of the Denver chapter of the Links Incorporated.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of Education of School District Number 1 in the City and County of Denver and the State of Colorado, this date, February 12, 2024, celebrates and honors Victoria Scott Haynes in recognizing her contributions, her leadership, and the indelible mark she has left on our education community. And before we have the family come up for some pictures, I know that Director Quattlebaum is standing by and she'd like to say a few words, and then I'll open it up to my board colleagues to say anything. Thank you. Director Quattlebaum?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to just say that today, with immense pride and joy, I am honored to celebrate remarkable contributions of a true beacon of inspiration. Victoria Scott Haynes, in her unwavering commitment to education and community service, Miss Victoria exemplifies the very essence of Black excellence. For years, Miss Victoria has been a driving force in our community, dedicated to fostering positive change within the education system. Her tireless efforts within Denver Public Schools have not only transformed the lives of countless students, but have also left an indelible mark on the entire community. Miss Victoria's journey is a testament to her resilience and passion for education. Through her leadership, she has brought about transformative initiatives, creating an environment that nurtures not only academic excellence, but also personal growth and development. Her commitment to ensuring that every student, regardless of their background, has access to quality education is truly commendable. Beyond her role in the education sector, Miss Victoria has been a pillar of strength within the community. Her involvement in various community projects and initiatives has had a profound impact, fostering unity and empowerment. Miss Victoria's dedication to uplift those around her is a shining example of leadership that goes beyond the confines of a classroom, creating a ripple effect for positive change. Today, as we celebrate Victoria Scott Haynes, we also celebrate Black excellence. Her achievements stand as a testimony to the limitless potential that exists within our community. She has shattered barriers, paved the way for others to follow, providing that, proving that with dedication and perseverance, one can achieve greatness. Let us not only honor Victoria Scott Haynes' accomplishments, but also be inspired by her example. Let her story be a reminder that each of us has the power to make a difference, and that through education and community engagement, we can build a brighter future for generations to come. Thank you, Miss Victoria, for your unwavering dedication to DPS and our community. Your legacy will continue to inspire and uplift us all. So thank you so much for your contributions. And just a little side note, you'll understand this. I did have support from that person that shall not be named to do this. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Quattlebaum. I'd now like to open it up to any of my board colleagues if they'd like to share any remarks regarding Victoria Scott Haynes.
If I may, Madam President?
Yes.
Victoria, this is an incredible moment because I have wondered what it would be that would be able to honor you in a way that is so appropriate and important. And I just want to share the importance of you within the community of Denver and across Denver, a powerful presence who is able to see and know and understand and share that understanding in really important ways. So when I have been across the room in a meeting with Victoria, I have known and trusted that if I look toward her, she will give me a look that says, either you got it or you kind of don't got it, John. And I trust that and appreciate that. And when I was having challenges as a high school principal, I was able to call Victoria and say, how bad is this, Victoria? And she would either say, John, it's okay, like take a moment, or it's really bad, John, so let's get on this now. And so I appreciate certainly anyone that can provide that kind of present and appreciated feedback, understanding who we are as a community and who we need to be, and being able to say in a way that is listened to, this seems to be what is, and here are some thoughts about moving forward. Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to share a few thoughts? Go ahead.
Victoria, even though I have only known you for a very short amount of time, I have appreciated all the same things that John said, to be able to see you in the room. I have really enjoyed your encouragement, your knowledge, and your love of the students in Denver Public Schools, and how you are willing to go the 100th mile for them. And I really do appreciate that, as well as everybody feels the same sentiment that Victoria will do whatever she needs to do for our children in DPS. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Esserman.
There is no significant constant presence in Denver public schools like Victoria Scott Haynes. For over a decade, I've known how you've shown up. And it wasn't until I was elected to the board that I fully understood, because your leadership is quiet. Your leadership is not focused on you, ever. We had early after I was elected, we had a rough board meeting. I know that's difficult to imagine. We don't have many of those. And you were the first person to reach out just to see how I was. And what I know is this, is we don't always agree. But I know we're going to have respectful dialogue, and I know that we're working in partnership for the same goals. And that's the kind of thing that makes this job easier, and that's the kind of thing that has tremendous continuing impact on generations and generations of Denver Public Schools students. You are a gift to Denver Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Sia?
Victoria, I met you for the first time in this building, and I had heard about you. You were this legend. And then soon after, I got to work in the same office space with you, and you always asked me the hard questions and wanted to know both how I was doing personally, but how were the kids doing and how are our schools doing. And I have learned so much from you, and you always seem to be in space where I know when something important is happening, or if we're there to celebrate, I know I'm gonna see you. You met my daughter over the summer, and she asked her so many questions about school and who she is, and she asked me all the time, when do I get to see Miss Victoria again? I wanna tell her what's going on, and I think that that's just such a testament to how much you care about each and every student in our community and how much you push us all to be better, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Dr. Marrero?
Thank you. Victoria, I'll be brief, not because I don't have a lot to share, but aside from the history, the legacy that you're a part of, I just want to thank you for being in all the right spaces. Whether it's during the day, after school, in the community, you look around and there's a common face and it's yours. And as board members have mentioned, you have an incredible way to inserting your advocacy for students, for parents, and for the community. And even if it's unpopular, you draw your own conclusions and you advocate for what's needed, not for what's easy. So for that, I tip my hat off and congratulations.
And before we have everybody come up and we can present you with a little gift and the proclamation, I'd just like to say thank you. I agree with everything that's been said. Your leadership is quiet and your leadership is fair, but I know you're always there. You're always willing to reach out and have conversations, and you do a lot of work behind the scenes. You are not looking for headlines, you're looking for action, all in the honor of our students, and we wouldn't be where we are today without your help and your support and your leadership. So thank you very much, and we invite you and anyone who is here to honor you to come up to the front. We'll take a picture with the board, so come on up. We really appreciate all of you for coming. Thank you for being here. We'll give everybody about 30 seconds to get out, and then I'll start reading public comment. All right, so now we'll move into public comment. We welcome your comments, which are important to us. Please note that we will not be entering into dialogue at this time. The purpose of this agenda item is for you, the public, to inform us, the Board of Education, about your views. We will consider your input when making decisions. If you raise a concern that requires follow-up, someone from DPS or a board member will contact you. All public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please identify yourself and read the title of your remarks when called upon to deliver your comments. No substitute speakers are allowed. Only the individuals who signed up to speak may address the board. Before the 3-minute mark, a chime will ring and alert the speaker that they have 15 seconds left to wrap up their comments. The board will then ask the speaker to approach the podium and continue to public comment. The board does not allow defamatory public comment, including false statements purporting to be true, which may cause a person reputational damage or other harm. The board will not allow threats of any kind, including messages meant to frighten or intimidate a person into believing they will be harmed or inviting others to cause harm. Please remember that young students may be present and listening. Refrain from using language that would be inappropriate for young students. Interpreters are available for those who have requested it in advance. Y ahora traducción al español.
Es hora de pasar al comentario público. Acogemos con satisfacción sus comentarios que son importantes para nosotros. Tenga en cuenta que no entraremos en diálogo en este momento. El propósito de este item de la agenda es que usted, el público, nos informe la Junta Educacional sobre sus puntos de vista. Consideraremos su opinión al tomar decisiones. Si plantea una preocupación que requiera seguimiento, alguien de DPS o un miembro de la Junta se pondrá en contacto con usted. Todos los comentarios del público están limitados a 3 minutos. Se permite la participación. Por favor, identifíquese cuando se le pida que presente sus comentarios. No se permiten oradores sustitutos. Solo las personas que inscriban para hablar pueden dirigirse a la Junta. En la marca de 3 minutos, el presidente le recordará que se ha acabado el tiempo y le dará 5 segundos para terminar sus comentarios. A continuación, la Junta pedirá al próximo orador que se acerque al podio para seguir comentarios públicos. La Junta no permite comentarios públicos difamatorios, incluyendo declaraciones falsas que pretendan ser ciertas, que pueden causar daños a la reputación de una persona u daño. La Junta no permitirá amenazas de ningún tipo, incluyendo mensajes destinados a acusar o intimidar a una persona para que se crea que será dañada o invitar a otros a causar tal daño. Por favor, recuerda que los estudiantes jóvenes están presentes y están escuchando. Absténgase de usar un lenguaje que sería inapropiado para los estudiantes jóvenes. Hay intérpretes disponibles para quienes lo hayan solicitado con antelación.
Muchas gracias. Also tonight, we are going, as you noticed, we're going to say a chime. A chime will sound at 15 seconds to let you know that you're approaching the end. And we can't find our chime, so I'm using an app on my phone, so I'd love everybody's patience. I think that feels more respectful than me interrupting you to say you have 15 seconds left. So I ask for everyone's patience. Y esta noche se me olvidó decirlo en inglés para que usted lo traduciera, entonces lo voy a intentar yo. En vez de que yo interrumpe a la gente a decir que les queden 15 minutos, voy a poner un sonido porque parece un poco más respetuoso de hacer eso. Pero bueno, no podemos encontrar el sonido que íbamos a usar, entonces estoy usando una aplicación en mi celular, entonces les pido su paciencia si todo nos sale bien. I will read the first 5 names if you would come up in order, and remember when you come up to speak, please say your name and the title of your comments. Lily Skidmore, Alexis Salas, Julie Steffens, Mia McClellan, and Ryan Cronshaw.
Good afternoon. My name is Lily Skidmore. I'm a senior at Denver School of the Arts. Recently, I've discussed with a number of DSA teachers their concerns regarding budget reductions, job cuts, and the lack of transparency in this process. Because of these concerns, I've taken it upon myself to review information posted on the DPS and the Department of Education websites. The information I reviewed includes the DPS annual financial audits and funding allocations. At the end of fiscal year 2023, DPS had $148 million in ending fund balance. This reflects a $30 million increase in fund balance over the last 3 years. However, even though savings are increasing, teachers' salaries as a percent of revenue are going down. In fiscal year 2020, salary expenses were around 54% of revenue. In fiscal year 2023, salary expenses decreased to 47% of revenue. I am puzzled as to why the district is cutting expenses and staff while funding balance is increasing. I am also puzzled as to why in fiscal year 2023, there was a transfer of $31 million from the general fund to the building fund. This happened while the building fund had already $639 million in unspent bond proceeds. Furthermore, the Department of Education allows each district to average their enrollment over the prior 5 years to receive additional funding and mitigate the impacts of declining enrollment. DPS has taken advantage of this enrollment averaging benefit. In fiscal year 2024, the district is receiving funding for 84,690 students, although only 82,476 students are enrolled. This is an additional $24.3 million in revenue. In fiscal year 2025, the district is projected to receive an additional $16.6 million as a result of this enrollment averaging. At Denver School of the Arts, enrollment has declined from 1,110 students in fiscal year 2020 to 1,039 students in fiscal year 2024. If the district distributed money based on enrollment averaging, Denver School of the Arts would receive funding for an additional 40 students. This translates to an additional $441,846 in additional funding this year. This extra funding could cover the majority of salary expenses for the 6 teachers DPS has suggested to cut. With DSA experiencing budget challenges, it would only seem fair to pass through this needed additional funding. I'm hopeful that during budget discussions and final staffing decisions, the district will be fair and transparent in this process. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julie Stevens, and I'm speaking on Skinner Innovation Plan application.
Hang on, we had Alexis Salas is next. Okay, she's not here. Just wanted to check. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julie Stevens. I'm privileged to be in my 4th year as the principal of Skinner Middle School. In my 19th year in DPS and 24 years in public education, I have balanced my role as a teacher and leader. With my 13 years of experience teaching English language arts at a diverse public high school in DPS, I remember the feeling of being empowered and valued as an educator and having the ability to make decisions that were best for my community. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of Skinner's Innovation Plan application. Skinner has been a beacon of hope and excellence in the historic Northside community since 1922. I'm actually wearing a blazer that goes all the way back from when Skinner Middle School was called Skinner Junior High. Neighborhood families continue to enroll their children at Skinner due to our academic expectations, positive school culture, and robust course offerings. Our enrollment is projected to grow to serve 677 students next year, a 3.2 increase with an anticipation of continuing to have a wait list at every grade level. Skinner has been consistently trending at performance, the highest band of status as defined by district and state, with meets expectations for academic achievement and growth in both math and language arts. We definitely have areas of improvement to continue to address gaps for our historically underserved and underestimated students, and we will feel emboldened to use the flexibilities within our plan to strengthen our approaches. With a long-standing, robust leadership team, a strong staff retention rate, we have confidence that empowering our team to make critical decisions will enable us to tailor programming to meet the needs of our students. Serving this beautifully diverse community requires differentiation and flexibility when selecting curriculums that are accessible, relevant, engaging, and meaningful. Curriculum and assessment go hand in hand and are inseparable. Our professional learning flexibility will allow staff to select which learning is most beneficial to their personal practice and student growth, providing differentiated in-house development and district-led training. Our calendar flexibility will allow us to maintain the additional staff professional learning days for focus areas. In addition, calendar flexibility will secure our ability to continue to prioritize positive school culture, high expectations, and targeted support. Our hiring timeline and flexibility will allow us to recruit and retain the most qualified and best talent. Supplemental enrichment programming can be staffed through our non-core content hiring flexibility, allowing for community content experts to serve and enhance our student learning experience. I'm proud of all the ways we've engaged our community through the innovation application process. It was transparent, collective, transformative. It has allowed us to gain the support of our community way beyond the required minimum of 60% vote, with 77% of our staff voting in favor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I gotta adjust this. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Mia McClellan, and I'm an 8th grade language arts teacher at Skinner Middle School. I currently serve as a member of the Collaborative School Committee. This is my 2nd year in DPS, but my 9th year in education. I'm here to address the Skinner Innovation Application and its tie to educational equity. I know that as board members, you all know more about the workings of the district, the goals, the mission statement, and the data than I do. But today, I just want to focus on a few pieces that seem to be paramount to everything. Every learner thrives. That is a very simple but admirable statement to put into practice. 88,235. That is the number of students DPS serves according to the district website. And when thinking about that number paired with the district motto, it actually feels a little overwhelming and impossible to accomplish. How can a district ensure that 88,235 students thrive in the classroom and set them up for success in the future? Well, thankfully, we have principals and teachers to help with that. Now, let me use a more manageable number, 111. That is the number of students I serve on a daily basis in class. Every day, I see at least 111 faces in my classroom, not including students who just stopped by. There are more than students, there are 111 individuals. Individuals with needs, expectations, life experiences, and so forth. And every day I work to meet those needs. Sometimes those needs are documented, most often they are not. In fact, those needs tend to change on a daily or even an hourly basis. As I moved into my role in DPS, I saw what the district's mission of educational equity looked like firsthand at Skinner. It is extremely difficult to make sure every learner thrives, but Skinner continues to work nonstop and does exceedingly well. Every day, I'm surrounded by staff who do their absolute best in making sure they are present and prepared for each student. Students come in with different needs, and it is our goal as educators to make sure those students are supported no matter what that educational need is. In our integrated language arts course, we utilize the district curriculum to address most needs, but we have found that oftentimes we have missed the needs of some students when working within its confines. As a whole, the curriculum attempts to address all students, but again, remember that number of total enrollment of students. The curriculum isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. As educators, we are entrusted by parents with the responsibility of teaching their children. This means that we have to know them more than just a number for enrollment. We need to understand the individual. Every day, teachers are making decisions in the classroom about what best serves their students. The common phrase you'll hear is, "I know my students," and that is a fact. If the district wants to truly hold itself accountable to the concept of educational equity, the innovation plan allows Skinner to do just that. It provides teachers with the opportunity to take what they continue to learn about their students and use it in the classroom. It is our job as educators to understand student needs and differentiate accordingly to close any gaps. This innovation plan allows teachers to have more autonomy to identify and implement curriculum and strategies specific to those students. I appreciate my time at Skinner, and this innovation plan allows my students to be seen, valued, and empowered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This always happens. Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Cronshaw. I'm the math instructional coach and math teacher at Skinner, and I'm speaking on behalf of the innovation plan. I know whenever the math teacher gets up, people get really nervous, like I'm going to make you come to the board or something. I'm not, I swear. But there are 3 numbers that I need you to remember for tonight. 63, 47, and 12. 63 represents the percent of our students who met or exceeded on the 2023 CMAS annual test, and that's about 50% higher than schools in the state of Colorado, which means that if a student is enrolled at Skinner, they have about a 50% chance greater than your average student in Colorado to be proficient in reading and writing. 47 is the percent of students who are meeting or exceeding on the math CMAS. That represents about a 75% improvement on state testing data, which means, again, that if a student goes to Skinner, they have a 75% chance, 75% greater chance of meeting or exceeding on CMAS. In both math and language arts over the past 2 years, our students of color have reached a distinguished rating in terms of growth in CMAS. And so clearly, some amazing things are happening at Skinner in terms of our academics currently. Now, while we'd like these all to be higher, the thing I really want you to take away is that our kids are growing. The final number I asked you to remember is 12. 12 represents the average number of years of experience of a Skinner teacher. Furthermore, many of our teachers have been at Skinner well over a decade, and we even have retired Skinner teachers coming back on a regular basis to substitute and to help out in the building. And that's something that makes Skinner a really special place. Now, I know that was a little bit of a data frenzy, so apologies. But what I really want you to take away from that is that we know that in our society, we have a huge shortage of teachers, especially in math and science and in special ed. And we know that professional development then should be geared towards those newer teachers who need the support. That's not our case at Skinner. And the district is doing everything that they should be doing in terms of professional development for new teachers. It just doesn't apply to us. And so what I think really would be helpful and why I support innovation is because of the opportunities to give unique professional development opportunities to our teachers. Personally, I think our data is impressive, and some might make an argument, why would you change something that works? But what I would propose is, what are the possibilities that could happen if we tried something different and tried a different model that pushed our teachers to grow in different ways? So thank you for considering us, and I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. I'll call up our next 5 speakers: Alejandra Castañeda, Madeline Aviles, Joshua Duran, Isabel Wolforth, and Zainab Endamian, and I might be saying your name wrong. Please feel free to correct me. Ayante Anderson has let us know he'll be here later.
This always happens. Good afternoon, buenas tardes. My name is Alejandra Castañeda, and I'm a second-year parent at Skinner Middle School. My daughter Violeta is a 7th grader, and I have been a member of the Collaborative School Committee, or CSC, since Violeta started attending Skinner a year and a half ago. I would like to start by thanking Principal Stevens for her leadership in this effort and for addressing all of our questions and concerns as parents and members of the CSC from the beginning, and to ensure parents participated in, contributed to, and were informed about the innovation application process. I can have a lot of questions, and I appreciated her always answering them for me. I am a community member who cares deeply about social justice and equitable educational outcomes. And I believe innovation status can empower Skinner's teachers and administrators to better serve all of our students and families. It can allow teachers to teach to our kids' individual needs and strengths and to offer even more personalized supports, slowing down or differentiating the pace of teaching based on each child's unique talents and lived experiences. As a parent, I trust Skinner teachers and other school leaders to design and implement innovative ideas and practices to continue serving the needs of our diverse learners. Skinner's ability to hire and retain a unique set of staff members will help the entire school community. I recently read that for innovation schools to leverage the autonomy and flexibility that the Innovation School Act allows, They need effective leaders and high-quality teachers who offer high-quality programs and understand the students' needs. I believe Skinner has all of these elements and can leverage its innovation status, if approved, to ensure more equitable educational outcomes. And I plan on being there as a parent to support the school, contribute, and engage along the way. Thank you for your consideration and for all you do to make sure our children all across Denver have access to the high-quality, enriching educational opportunities every young person deserves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, DPS School Board and Dr. Marrero. I'm here to voice my concerns about Skinner's innovation plan.
Can you please state your name for the record, please?
I am Joshua Paul Duran, and I've been blessed to have been born and raised in this great city of Denver. I'm an alum of Denver North, class of '99. I sit on the board of the Denver Northside High School Alumni Association, and I am a proud Northside Viking. And although I didn't go to Skinner, I'm a proud Skinner Scorpion. I've worked for DPS for 14 years, all 14 at Skinner. As an AN para, a math fellow in our neighborhood center, as a restorative coordinator, as a dean, and after getting my master's degree and license, a classroom teacher. I am here tonight for two reasons. First, I was recently challenged by a student who asked me, Mr. Duran, why do you guys teach us that we have freedom of speech, to be upstanders, or that we can be civilly disobedient when no one listens anyway? To me, this was a question of accountability and reminded me why I'm in education, which is to empower children and help them become critical thinkers. I returned a few days later with a mini lesson on Thucydides, who says, right is only a question between equals in power. While the strong do what they can, the weak suffer what they must. I know that good teaching also includes modeling, so I am here modeling what it looks like to use the power of my voice to do what I can. Second, I'm here to voice my concerns about Skinner becoming an innovative school. Skinner is a historic neighborhood middle school with over 100 years of history and has earned a reputation of high academic achievement. All this while being a traditional public school. My father taught at Skinner for 25 years and fought for teachers' rights during the 1994 and 2019 teacher strikes. As a member of DCTA, I am concerned about giving up any rights that have been fought for over the years. I don't care what right it is, because it is in our contract for a reason. It is scary to me that we are being asked to voluntarily give up or waive rights. Another concern is after reading the plan multiple times and talking with DCTA, I still am not fully sure what problem is getting fixed or how it benefits the students and community. It is my understanding that the flexibility in the curriculum and the calendar this plan is asking for can already be done without going innovative. I deeply care about the history and future of Skinner. I grew up a block away from Skinner and recently bought a home that's also a block away. I have students whose parents are my friends from North. I have students that are my neighbors. I have students whose parents had my father as their teacher. We must be accountable to the communities in which we serve, and that is why I'm here. I'm asking that you keep Skinner's rich history of being a traditional, public, free neighborhood school alive and vote no on this innovation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes. Good evening, Dr. Marrero and board members. My name is Isabel Wolfhard, and I'm here with my colleagues.
Isabel, make sure you get the microphone right by your mouth and speak right into it. Thank you. We want to be sure we hear you.
Okay. My name is Isabel Wolfhard, and I am the 3-year-old ELA S teacher at Sandra Todd Williams Academy. Sandra Todd Williams Academy, it's a small preschool center in the far northeast in the Green Valley Ranch neighborhood. I am here today with my colleagues because we want to express some of our concerns. I am here because I'm especially concerned with the quality of education that we are providing for our youngest learners and the placement of students by Child Find in the 3-year-old general education classroom. At Sandra Todd Williams Academy, we have two 3-year-old classrooms, the ELA E and the ELA S. As you probably know, this year, the ECE classrooms, number of children in the classrooms was increased to 20 from 16. At Sandra Todd Williams Academy, we don't have an ECSE, or early childhood special educator. We don't even have an itinerant. The 3-year-old ELA E classroom already has 20 students. 40% of those students are students with IEPs. 15 of those students are MLLs, and 2 more are going to the process, the MTSS process. The ELA S student, which is my classroom, already has 60% of the students on IEPs. 15 of them are MLLs. As I said before, I am very concerned with the placement of students with IEPs in the general education classroom. And with this high number of students with IEPs in the general education classroom, students are no longer assigned to the least restrictive environment. All students, including our typical learners in the general education classroom, are now in an increased level of restrictiveness. And students at this age, it's important to remember that they don't have the skills to self-regulate or to identify and cope with their emotions. I am very concerned. I am very concerned because placing a high number of students on IEPs in the general education classroom makes it very difficult to honor and to live the DPS core value of putting all students and their needs first. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, DPS Board School member and Dr. Marrero. My name is Zainab Imdadian, and I'm an ECE teacher at Sandra Todd Williams Academy in the far northeast. I work with 4-year-olds who will be kindergartners next year. I, along with my colleagues who are here today, are the founding staff of our school that opened in fall of 2016. I'm here today to ask you to keep our classrooms open instead of closing one and leaving it vacant. Since we have opened, we have served a diverse group of students and their families. The majority of the students and families we have served have been students of color, immigrants, refugees, students with special needs, and students who speak multiple languages. We have one of the most diverse teaching staff that represent the demographics of our community and the families we serve. We opened our school in the far northeast because of the high need in the area for early childhood education. Since then, we have prepared each child for kindergarten, socially, emotionally, and academically. We strive to provide a high-quality early childhood education in all of our classrooms, and we believe it would only be equitable if we keep every single one open. According to the number of families who have already choiced in for the next school year, we are already projected to have all 5 of our ECE English classrooms filled with 20 students. Please note that because of UPK, our class numbers have increased from 16 to 20, and with that, we have also seen an increase in the number of students with higher needs and IEPs. Given the fact that we are an early childhood education center that serves 3 to 5-year-olds, we are very well equipped to handle their needs. On average, our teachers have 21 years of experience in education. We are experienced, trained, and are best capable in meeting the needs of the children. It does not make sense to close one of our ECE4 classrooms, especially when there's a high need and interest. Implementation of UPK was a disaster as many families were confused on how to choose and to match to our school. Since DPS has taken charge of the process, we are now seeing families come to our school and apply for their child's enrollment. In just the first round of School of Choice, we already have 132 applications who indicated Sandra Todd Williams Academy as one of their top choices, and those numbers were as of today. It is only halfway through February. As parents continue to navigate the choice application during the second round, our school could in all likelihood have a wait list. We as Team DPS believe in students first. It is one of our core values, and we need to always have students at the forefront of our decisions. By closing one of our classrooms, you're refusing to provide high-quality education to 20 children. This is only for our school. If you add all 6 ECE classrooms that are going to be closed in the far northeast, That is 120 children who will not be able to receive early childhood education. How will these children be prepared for kindergarten next year? I want to thank you for listening to my
Thank
story,
you.
and I urge you to consider not closing our classrooms.
Thank you. I'll read the next 5 people to speak. Tricia Freshwater, Valerie Henderson, Rebecca Krantz, Jennifer Jones, and the Honorable Ayante M. Anderson. And a reminder to say your name and the title of your comments. Thank you.
Good evening, DPS School Board and Dr. Marrero. My name is Tricia Freshwater. I am an ECE teacher at Sandra Todd Williams Academy, resident of Green Valley Ranch community, and I am also a CSC member. I want to share my concerns I have in regards to how decisions impacting our school have happened without the collaboration of our CSC committee or greater school community. In January of this year, our school was informed that due to low student enrollment, our school would have to close an ECE classroom for the next school year. In response, we developed an alternative scenario that we hoped would keep our classrooms open and make cuts in other areas of the school budget. At the CSC meeting on January 18, 2024, we were told that the 5 budget alternative scenarios we had suggested would not be considered and we would have to close a classroom. When ideas were shared at the CSC meeting to address our budget shortfalls, we were told the budget manager said that this is what we have to do. So the budget manager is making all of the school decisions, and the budget manager never has to meet with us. Where is the collaboration in this? Where is the transparency? One of our scenarios was to not have an ECSE, but to use an itinerant to serve our students on IEPs. We were told that this is not an option because of the high number of students on IEPs that will be in our building next year. So if it is known that we will have high number of students on IEPs, how is it known that we do not have enough students to keep all of our classrooms open? When discussions and questions came up about the funding sources, for example, how much did our school receive in funding from UPK this current school year, and how much will we receive per classroom, per pupil, and as a school from our UPK for the upcoming year? The extension of DPP was approved by the voters. How much money is our school receiving from DPP funding? Is that broken down by student, by classroom, by school? How many of our students are tuition-based and how many of our students are projected to be in tuition-based next year? There was no clear answer to any of these questions. Our recommendations have not been considered despite the fact that Colorado law requires all schools to have a CSC to increase accountability and family involvement. In closing, I would like again to reiterate that I am very concerned about the lack of transparency around the ECE budget and our school's CSC lack of input. Despite the district's core value of collaboration, there has been no collaboration with us. And despite the district's core value of integrity in terms of UPK funding and DPP funding, there has not been transparent explanations of why budget cuts have to close a classroom, as opposed to making cuts in other areas of the budget. Shouldn't the community and school members have a say in how to best support the needs of our students in our community? Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good evening, DPS School Board and Dr. Marrero. My name is Valerie Henderson, and I am also a teacher at Sandra Todd Williams Academy. I am here to address the concern of lack of communication and transparency we have had between the leadership of the ECE department and our school community as a whole. As many of you are aware, the far northeast community has a large population of historically marginalized students. And to be completely honest, we have struggled with educational equity in this school district. When it was announced that DPS was closing 20 ECE classrooms, many of us were concerned about where those closures were happening. Even though on multiple occasions we asked for a list of impacted schools, we have yet to receive an answer. So educators at Sandra Todd took it upon ourselves to call different schools in the far northeast. What we discovered is that at least 6 classrooms or 120 ECE seats will not be available to students in the far northeast next year. Many of us continue to be very concerned that though the district says we have a value of equity and putting students first, our students haven't come first in DPS and they still aren't being treated equitably. Even though DPS has the value of integrity, it doesn't feel like the leadership of the ECE department within our district is operating from a place of honesty nor transparency regarding these closures. Continuing with the lack of transparency, as Ms. Isabel mentioned, her general education classroom has more than 50% of students who are on IEPs. That classroom is out of compliance with the standards set forth by CDE for students with IEPs. The ECE department, nor has the Department of Exceptional Student Services notified any of those parents in that classroom of this information. The fact that those IEPs have not been updated to communicate that those students are no longer in their least restrictive environment goes against CDE standards. How many other ECE programs is this happening in? The ECE department has disclosed that 20 ECE classrooms will be closing throughout the district. That's 400 ECE seats of our youngest students who will no longer have access to, and 20 teachers and paraprofessionals will either be displaced from their schools or lose their jobs altogether. What cuts are being made in the ECE department at central office? Again, that information has not been disclosed. In closing, I would like to again share my frustration and disappointment around the lack of transparency and collaboration with how decisions that are so impactful to our families and students are being made. The early ed department is not putting students first, operating from a place of integrity, making equitable decisions for students in the far northeast.
Please wrap up your comments.
Collaborating with
Thank you.
school communities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Marrero. My name is Rebecca Kranz Johnson, and I'm an early educator at Sandra Todd Williams Academy. I've been teaching for 24 years, a majority of which have been out in the far northeast, the neighborhood where I grew up, and the community which I'm proud to still be a member of. I'm here this evening to advocate for my school and community and to ask that you hold DPS accountable to their values of integrity and, most importantly, students first. I am proud to work with a group of dedicated and knowledgeable educators. And recently we were informed that our school would be closing a classroom due to budget concerns and low enrollment. As you can imagine, we were devastated, but also confused because our neighborhood continues to grow. Not long after, I saw a story on DPS, on 9 News about DPS. It was a feature about a new E through second grade school opening up in the far northeast where, quote, neighborhoods are taking shape. I immediately felt the sting of the juxtaposition of that statement and the fact that a classroom in my building only 1 mile away is closing. How can they be talking about serving our rapidly growing neighborhood in their public-facing messages on the news and social media, yet closing classrooms due to low enrollment? Which is it? A member of the DPS operations team went on to say, quote, the far northeast area of Denver is growing the fastest, so this school is in response to that growth, end quote. So why close classrooms? She goes on to explain how very excited she is about this new school, and I would love to feel that same excitement. However, I cannot get past the fact that this is happening at the exact same time, at the exact same week that I and so many of my colleagues are facing a reduction in building, interviewing for our jobs, and struggling with the reality that one of us will be cut and our students will be losing a phenomenal educator. Please also keep in mind that our school is only one of at least 5 in our community that is closing classrooms. This means at least 120 of our youngest students will not have a place to learn and grow. So as much as I would love to be excited about this new school and the district's new sustainability project, I am more concerned about the sustainability of my neighborhood. Thank you for your time and for listening. I ask you to consider that STWA is an early childhood center with educators who are experts in early childhood education. We have an average of 21 years of experience, so if there is, in fact, a low enrollment issue in the far northeast, rather than funding new classrooms in a building that's not even open, please consider keeping the classroom that is already established, that is in the same neighborhood, and that already has a passionate educator that is best suited to meet our youngest students' needs. In other words, put our students first.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Jones, and I am the Core Plus Electives team lead at Skinner Middle School. I'm here to talk about the Innovations Plan. I'm also the director of the Denver Citywide Marching Band and one of 2 arts representatives on the Teacher Advisory Council here for DPS. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk this evening about the innovation plan we wrote, how it will benefit our community, and most importantly, our students. Skinner has a robust and comprehensive Core Plus, or electives department, allowing our students to explore passions and lifelong learning opportunities beyond the standard offerings at most DPS middle schools. The innovation plan will allow us to maintain these offerings and afford teachers the opportunity to flex for professional learning and collaborate with partners in the building, across the district, and outside of the district when appropriate to enhance their growth, differentiating for their specific niche disciplines, collaborative projects, and instructional strategies. Our art department offers 2D and 3D art for both semester classes and advanced year-long classes, while sending students to citywide art shows every year, earning awards for creative and beautiful works. We offer semester STEAM classes where students build bridges, have debates about AI, use Scratch to create and code video games, use 3D pens to create cubes and other cool projects. Our creative writing classes can be taken as semester or year long, where students dig into different styles of writing, from mysteries to fantasies, creating a comic book, writing children's books and drawing their illustrations, and finally writing a memoir. The music department offers year-long classes for beginning band and orchestra, intermediate and advanced band and orchestra, as well as choir. Each of those ensembles have consistently had 16 to 20 students a year sent to citywide honor ensembles. We hold several community arts nights a year in collaboration with the art department, and we invite the community and families to learn how to do what we are doing in our music and arts classes. 2 major departments we are proud of to have at Skinner are our woodshop and FACS, family and consumer science classes. We pride ourselves not only on having the space and equipment for these classes, but highly qualified teachers for them as well. We are the only middle school in the district to have these classes, and as such, the innovation plan is needed to assist in supporting their professional development opportunities and flexibilities beyond teal days. Our physical education semester classes push students to be physically active, understand why a healthy lifestyle will benefit them, as well as prepare them for multiple sports, activities, leadership roles, and collaboration. Our Spanish department offers 3 levels of year-long classes, including Spanish for second language learners, heritage dual language speakers, and Spanish language arts, affording them an opportunity to have a solid foundation for completing the Seal of Biliteracy program as they continue their education in high school. Yes Mentoring is a supplemental enrichment program that we were able to bring to Skinner that highly benefits a large number of students daily. It promotes inclusiveness for us to learn how to have conversations around identity and community, fosters social emotional skill building, post-secondary readiness, and leadership skills. We could bring more partnerships into Skinner as needed to support our students' need as our budget allows us with the innovation beyond our core content teachers' reach. Thank you so much. As we improve our practices, our students grow, and our community has more opportunities.
Hey friends, I really wish I didn't have to be here today. And since leaving you all, I guess I have become the 5th member of what we would know as Scooby-Doo's Mystery Gang, trying to figure out why an local independent charter school board at Wyatt Academy has totally chopped up and messed up their self-closure procedure, both with your DPS contract and also with state law. So for those who don't know, Wyatt Academy said that they were going to close on January 29th, but did not pass a resolution for a charter surrender. They're actually doing that tomorrow, which is actually a violation of the contract that we passed on January 12th, 2023, because they were supposed to send that over before round 1 of school choice actually closed. Now you have families in Northeast Denver that are in a panic. They've read out of open records documents from your general counsel to their attorney of saying that transferring money, $600,000 of public taxpayer dollars, which they were planning to transfer from Wyatt Academy's budget to University Prep's budget, is illegal. However, they still are trying to justify those sorts of actions. So now you have a community that's hurting. You have students that are in confusion. You have teachers that don't understand if they will have a job. And you don't have to be pro-charter or anti-charter to know that these are kids. These are humans. And these are livelihoods that we're messing with. And so my ask for you all as school board members is to start asking more questions about this process, asking what DPS is going to do to ensure, because their MOU actually states that even if that the Board of Education for their local school votes tomorrow morning that they won't pursue a merger with UPrep and they won't vote to close their school, it still states that Wyatt will pay for all of the expenses incurred through the MOU. It still states that they will receive a percentage of the funds, UPrep will still receive a percentage of funds from public taxpayer dollars from Wyatt Academy. So I really just hope that we're able to just center those students' experiences. And then also my request is that if the school closes, this is how, I almost used a bad word, this is how messed up this procedure is. They're voting at 7 a.m. in the morning via Zoom. They won't even face their community about the vote that they're getting ready to take. They're going to vote at 7 a.m. via Zoom and disrupt the entire school day for children and teachers. And my ask for the superintendent and your team is to reach out to the principal and ask her what sort of mental health supports or what other emotional services supports can we offer your community during this very difficult time if this vote goes a different way. I'm hopeful that I don't actually have to come back here again and talk to you about this issue. But I ask that you just stay involved, and if there's a charter surrender that comes to you, even if it's symbolic, just vote no so that you don't have to deal with the pressure from their community. That's all I ask. Appreciate y'all. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next 5 speakers are Karen Blanky, Lynn Lee, Donna Lafitte, Stephanie Patterson, and Colleen Hussey. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Karen Blank, and I am a 10-year parent at the Denver School of the Arts. I am here today to ask you to provide immediate oversight to the DPS administration, which I believe is fully complicit in DSA's failure to manage the RIB process in accordance with the DCTA and CSC guidelines, as well as the poor leadership of the executive principal and high school principal. If you were able to provide such oversight and course correction to both levels of decision-making, I and hundreds of families would have faith that DSA can continue to fulfill its potential as the incredible arts magnet school that is shaping future artists in Denver and beyond, at a time when we need creative voices more than ever. At a rapidly growing pace, parents experience the following problems with executive principal and the high school principal of DSA. A lack of communication, including not responding to critical parent inquiries, cutting off established channels of communication, an absence of transparency about how and when meaningful changes are made. Significant attrition in tenured faculty and hiring of inexperienced educators leading to deteriorated academic excellence. These concerns were shared with all of you and Dr. Marrero in a letter that was signed by over 100 parents. We learned on Monday, February 5th, at a CSC meeting that the DCTA teachers' contracts pertaining to the ribbing process had not been followed. Furthermore, we also learned that there was no budget shared with the CSC, despite Section 2.5 of the CSC bylaws, which state that the CSC will provide guidance, evaluation, and recommendations for the annual school budget to ensure its alignment with the UIP and the school program design. However, as quoted today at the school walkout by the Denver Gazette, the response given to the CSC by high school principal Aspen Burkett was, "That is not something open for the CSC to see the full budget," end quote. Furthermore, according to the Commons, a DPS online publication, the Collaborative School Committee's first priority is cited to be providing guidance, evaluation, and recommendations to the principal and the instructional superintendent about spending priorities. How can the CSC provide such guidance, evaluation, and recommendations when no budget will be shared with them by the high school principal who sits on the CSC? What I've shared with you is merely just the backdrop for where we are today. 3 days before the budget and decisions are due to the district. Here's what I'm asking of you today. Immediately stop the current RIB process at DSA. Provide an extension so we can restart in compliance with the DCTA contractual language and the CSC bylaws. Provide full financial transparency by disclosing the budget to the CSC and school community, just like it happened at East High School. So the CSC can actually make informed decisions about RIB consideration groups. And please, hold the executive principal and high school principal accountable for allowing the school to reach a place of overspending. Provide stronger oversight to the DPS administrators. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lynn Lee. I'm one of the co-founders of Resign DPS. After the shootings of 2 East Deans at East High School last spring, angry and concerned parents formed these resign DPS to demand leadership changes to the dysfunctional DPS board. No board members resigned. However, resigned DPS, along with PSOG, convinced Denver voters to flip 3 board positions. Although the resigned DPS campaign ended after elections, the resign movement is still very much alive. Resign DPS movement continued to educate parents, the voters, and the media on why they must continue to hold the DPS board accountable and responsible for Dr. Morara's performance and the governance of DPS. Other than the instatement of 13 SROs, nothing has changed since East shooting. The problem lies with the disciplinary matrix that does not allow schools to hold students accountable for their actions. Thousands of dollars were spent at Pell at Harvard in summer of 2023 with no improvements to the matrix. We are now promised a revision in the spring from a process that excludes white parents from being part of. DPS is currently being investigated for violating civil rights laws. Should DPS found guilty of racial discrimination, DPS could potentially lose federal fundings. Data sets from Colorado Department of Education show a 16% economic gap between white students, blacks, and Hispanic students. The gap is even worse with Pacific Islander and Native Americans. DPS graduation rate lags behind other districts, and the 1 to 2% annual growth is an embarrassment based on the amount of money Denver voters have invested in DPS. Our educators are currently required to interview for their job as part of the RIB process. It is only equitable the same RIB process is applied to Dr. Marrero and the DPS executive team, which is bloated with 6-figure salaries. We need to purge and only retain executives that are qualified to lead the largest school district in Colorado. It is time to do more with less. We continue to see personal drama and agenda from members of this board. When these board members and Dr. Marrero were missing from meetings, we see meaningful discussion using data. Board meetings are not reality TV. It should be boring. The DPS board is responsible for creating strategies and roadmaps for the district and holding its only employee accountable for carrying out the roadmap. The board is in charge, not the superintendent. You must overcome fears of being labeled as racist and focus on the duties you were elected to do. If you cannot do this, please resign.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Donna Lafitte. I'm an educator with 38 years of experience and currently working on the district's inclusive education team. I'm an itinerant special education teacher. I am here today to advocate for what's needed, not what is easy. Our team works to build the capacity of teachers, service providers, paraprofessionals, and administration around equitable access for students with disabilities. We are currently the only team proactively bridging the gap in schools between thousands of special education and general education teachers. At this moment in time, we alone have had over 3,000 teaching and learning opportunities that impact students, teachers, families, and administration within DPS. Our team works alongside building leaders to systematically evoke change through an inclusive lens. Unfortunately, our team will no longer be funded in 2024 and 2025. I am here to raise awareness regarding the necessary commitment that our teachers are actively and tirelessly doing to include every student in their classroom. DPS embodies putting students first. We want to ensure that all students embrace a sense of belonging. In order to make this happen, teachers need that support. In our own education as teachers, we typically attract into special education and general education degrees. We are not provided with the skill sets around working as collaborative teams or the intuitive skill set to address the needs of students with disabilities within the general education classroom. As a team, we have seen that the most effective way to carry out this work is through direct teacher education, modeling, and support regarding students' needs. This separation is then continued within our schools. Right now, there is a gap between special education and general education, and we have students that are in general education classrooms that require more specialized support. Our teachers require support in bridging that gap and building a skill set to do so. We have found the most effective strategies to support systematic change at the building level is to give direct support working alongside staff as they shift their mindsets and practices. We have brought this to administration, yet we have not been able to work successfully on creating a plan on how to do this. Inclusive education starts from the leadership setting priorities to include all students to ensure a sense of belonging at school. How will DPS continue this work that is needed for inclusive practices? Thank you. And Carrie, thank you for doing my name correctly, okay? Lafitte. Okay.
Just luck, but thank you.
It was luck,
Years
okay.
of teaching.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Colleen Hussey, and I as well am a teacher leader on the inclusive education team. In 2019, this board created a resolution following the recommendations of a special education task force. This group made recommendations based on data within our district pertaining to students with disabilities. The resolution states many facts and points that we were wanting to raise awareness on today. First and foremost, this resolution showed that in DPS, we know the issues at hand. They are stated explicitly in the resolution. Here are some of the highlights. Scientific peer-reviewed studies confirm that both students with disabilities and their non-disabled peers have higher academic achievement and improved social-emotional skills when included in their general education settings. Inclusive practice is a responsibility of all school personnel to ensure students have appropriately differentiated access to academic instruction and social-emotional learning. It also stated that the superintendent and the ESS department will implement a strategic plan to sustainably increase inclusive practices across the district that will help develop the skills of all school-based staff and district staff. Lastly, it stated that this strategic plan will remain a living, breathing document with outcomes and milestones. To be frank, we have yet to hear and have been asking since 2020, when our team was created, what the strategic plan entails and how the district will support this work. Statistically, DPS has a population of students with disabilities around 20%. That's not a small number. Our team has been working to bridge the gaps and build the capacity of our educators and specialized service providers to ensure all students find success in the classrooms. We found the data trends and have brought this to administration, and it's yet to be addressed. Our purpose in coming today is, as we stated, to raise awareness around this need and bring back to the board this resolution and ask, what is the strategic plan? The current strategic roadmap does not address this need. We know that investing in addressing skill set and resource gaps for both special ed and general education teachers is crucial for successful inclusive education. By providing targeted support, we can create inclusive classrooms that benefit all learners and ensure every child has the opportunity to thrive. So I ask, how is this going to continue to be done? What is DPS's strategic plan to ensure students with disabilities have equitable access to their education? Thank you.
Thank you. And our last speakers are Joe Kremer, Chelsea Moore, Susan Klopman, and Rosario Sidevaca.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Joe Kramer, Dr. Marrero. I've been teaching at a small project-based innovation school called DSISD since 2016. We serve a unique population of neurodivergent, LGBTQ+, and non-traditional students. Our families consistently express deep gratitude to teachers and district administrators that our school serves their child better than any other school in the district could. Unfortunately, at this very moment, our school's CSC is holding a meeting to address flaws in our budgeting and RIBS process and to express deep concern with the leadership of our principal. From my position as DCTA rep, I'm concerned that because of poor admin leadership, many or most staff will decide to leave the school this year, risking loss to our unique programming and likely the closure of our school. First, some context on the reach and the value our programming can have. While teaching science at DSISD, I've worked with a team based in Colorado Springs to help write and pilot project-based materials, sharing in-class experiences with the writing team in real time. This work is now used in classrooms across the country and in the district. It's called Open Sci-Ed. Tiffany Choi Owusu, former DCTA president and current DSISD teacher, has organized student visits to Spanish-speaking newcomer classrooms and taken students to talk in Spanish with restaurant owners about their family stories. She's then shared these experiences with other teachers at district's Teal Days, scaling up project-based learning district-wide. DSISD's teachers are a huge asset to the district, but in October of this year, 14 of 15 staff members signed a letter to our principal stating, among other things, that her leadership made them feel undervalued, confused, overwhelmed, and unsuccessful in supporting our students. Staff sought mediation from the district, but this was ignored. A recent survey revealed that 91% of teaching and support staff disagree that the principal helps to build strong school culture and staff morale, and 91% disagree that she embodies the leader mindsets and behaviors in our innovation plan new this year. Weak governance structures in our prior innovation plan in place for 5 years and disconnect at the district level enabled unilateral decisions by our principal for her first 4 years. Despite our new innovation plan's emphasis on consensus governance and despite building back up a thriving CSC this year, our principal and her collaborative director disregarded this consensus model when it was needed most. Our budget for next year does not reflect what CSC thinks students need, and neither our principal nor central office seems to care. With new leadership, DSISD can thrive. I understand that the board cannot step in directly regarding personnel matters, but I implore you to do whatever is in your power to influence those who can. Administrators' needs should not override students' needs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like our last three speakers are not here. Do we see Chelsea? Oh, maybe there.
Chelsea's not here, but Susan is.
Okay, Susan, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board members. Thank you, and Dr. Moreira, for the opportunity to speak with you. I am a parent of 2 DPS high schoolers, one at a very large high school and the other at the Denver School of Innovation and Sustainable Design. My 9th grader is at DSISD. We chose that school for its ability to serve neurodivergent students. And we have a half-hour commute to enjoy the benefits of that school. I want you all to know that it's our feeling, I'm here on behalf of a number of parents and the Collaborative School Committee, that DSISD is actually a hidden gem within the DPS system that parents like myself do not know enough about. We're very concerned that at the current course of events, DSISD will not remain open much longer, given the administrative choices and governance and the way that the budget is being handled with the Collaborative School Committee. My son, as an example, has physical disabilities and 2 socio-mental disabilities and is classified as gifted and talented. I represent countless parents in this school district who need for their disabled children to receive the kind of education they deserve. DSISD has provided that. He is thriving there. What is happening currently at DSISD is that the Collaborative School Committee is very active and yet is not receiving the kind of transparency that the bylaws and the innovation or the community status collaborative leadership that DSISD is founded upon. And it threatens, as you heard from one of my son's teachers, a very fine teacher, the school will lose teachers and have already decided to cut teachers and not touch administration. This is one of the smallest enrolled schools in in DPS, and yet the administration has chosen not to touch any part of budget cuts that affect anything but teachers. 4 teachers are being let go that will end up crippling this crucial school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our last speaker is Rosario C. de Vaca, but I'm not seeing her. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming to public comment tonight, whether you participated in person or virtually. We have completed all business before the Board of Education this evening, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.